Hey dudes, how you doing? Um, just coming at you with another video here, and before I start this video, I want to say that uh, for all those who wish me a happy birthday on Friday, thank you. I appreciate it, especially for those who are my subscribers or my friends on Facebook. Thank you. If you're wondering how old I am, I'm 22 now. Um, my birthday is February 28th. Um, so yeah, thank you for the wishes. But anyway, moving on. Um, what is the topic of this video this time? Um, although, um, I might just do a movie review this time. And what movie? Shwing. GoldenEye. Um, I know I have a couple of movie reviews up here on my channel, but I don't have a Bond movie review. Um, Bond movie as a review. And I guess a little bit of a backstory. I'm a sucker for James Bond. No homo, by the way. Um, you know, like I said, I've always been a guy for James Bond. You know what I mean. Uh, Um, now, for if you're wondering, do I prefer the movie version or the book version? I cannot say because I've not read enough of Ian Fleming's original work to say whether I prefer the film version or the literary version. So I guess to compensate for that, I guess I could say I love everything James Bond. So it's not as biased in that sense. Um, but I've always enjoyed the movies, though. I'm a big James Bond fan. So, but we've got GoldenEye, and forgive the videotape case if it seems kind of wear and tearish. I've had the videotape for a while, so but yeah, that's GoldenEye. Here was the first of 4 films with Pierce Brosnan. A little backstory on that. Timothy Dalton, after he finished License to Kill, I think he had originally intended to act in this film, but a lot of legal disputes were going on, and between 1989 and 1995. So that was the longest gap between any Bond film, 6 years. Um, but I guess by the time they were able to get down to doing this movie, Timothy Dalton decided to step down and decided, no, I don't want to do any more films as Bond. And then eventually Pierce Brosnan was able to do the role. And he had in the past, when The Living Daylights came out, they were look at it. He was being looked at to be Bond, but he wasn't able to because he was doing his TV show Remington Steele at the time. Here we go. And I think the actor Sean Bean had been looked at for Bond too, but he didn't get it either. And speaking of Dalton, I think way back when, I think around the time of Connery, he had been looked at for Bond too, but decided no at the time because he felt he was too young to be Bond because he was born in the 1940s. I think it was either 44 or 46. Sources vary. But I think Wikipedia says 44, and I think IMDb says 46. Just either way, he was born somewhere in the early to mid 40s. Let's put it that way. But like I said, Pierce Brosnan. And what's interesting is some of our Bond actors were not actually British because the character's supposed to be British. Because Pierce Brosnan is an Irishman. George Lazenby is an Aussie. Um, Sean Connery is Scottish. Um, and Timothy Dalton is Welsh born. Although I think he's considered to be a Brit though. But I know that Roger Moore and Daniel Craig are both Englishmen. So Daniel Craig is our current Bond, by the way. And for those of you who are living under a certain rock, but um, basically what this film here is about, it's about um, Pierce Brosnan goes after Bond, I should say, James Bond, goes after the bad guy, of course, like he always does, who wants to well, maybe I should read it to you from the video case, just to give you a better idea than how I could potentially do so. You know what? Let's try IMDb here. Um, James Bond teams up with the lone survivor of a destroyed Russian research center to stop the hijacking of a nuclear space weapon by a fellow agent believed to be dead. That's just in a nutshell, description of the plot as per IMDb. So, and basically Bond is going up against the bad guy to stop all this from happening. He was a fellow agent. And the kicker is, he's not necessarily a stinker bad guy. Well, in a sense, he could be, but he is also Bond's friend. And you're wondering, the character is Alec Trevelyan, played by the very talented Sean Bean. And Sean Bean is also an Englishman, by the way. He's who I mentioned before who didn't get to play Bond and all. And why is Alec Trevelyan doing this? Because his parents were survivors of what was it? Well, his parents were Leon's Cossacks. They survived like Stalin's execution squads and all and everything. If you've seen the movie before, I'm sure you probably remember. And his dad suffered from survivor's guilt and killed his mom and himself, and because of that, Alec Trevelyan wanted to get back at England for the betrayal of his parents and all. So yeah, that's pretty much the plot, I guess. And if you've seen the movie before, I'm sure you'll know what it's about. So, and like I said, this is the first of 4 Bond films with Pierce Brosnan. And believe it or not, like for most people of my generation who were born anywhere in the 90s, maybe like at least early, like maybe mid to late 80s, early 90s. Like I was born in 1992. And most people will say that this was their first Bond. Believe it or not, this film here was not my first Bond film. That honor goes to The World Is Not Enough, the 3rd film with Pierce Brosnan. This one was like my 2nd one. I was I think like 3rd grade when I first saw it. A friend of my dad's gave us a few of his DVDs, and of course among them was The World Is Not Enough. And of course we watched it, and I guess it kind of introduced me to the Bond as a character, and I guess GoldenEye kind of solidified my fandom. And how I got to see GoldenEye, my brother brought me home a free rental from Hollywood Video, and I was in 5th grade when I saw it. And when I woke up one morning to find that out, hey, there it is, because I wanted to watch it, and my brother brought it home for me. I appreciate that. And I saw it there. And of course, I wasn't able to watch it that morning because I had to go to school. But throughout school, I couldn't wait to get home and watch it. And my brother and I did. I came home and we watched it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah. Um, and believe it or not, I've seen this movie here like more times than I could probably remember. It's like one of those movies that, like, if I came into your house and you were watching it, I would, depending on how far you are to me, I would know exactly where you are in the movie. You know, I can't say that for every movie I've ever seen, but this is just one of those movies. Like, and no matter where you are in the movie, I could pinpoint where you are at and how far you are. I've seen it that many times, put it that way. Um, Now, who else is in this movie? Like I said, it was Pierce Brosnan's first film as Bond. There was Sean Bean, who I mentioned before, who's Alex Trevelyan, the main antagonist. Um, Isabella Scorupco, I think that's how I pronounce her name. She's the main Bond girl of the film. I think she's like Polish. Yeah. And then there's Famke Janssen, who's known for playing in the X-Men movies, amongst other movies. She played a character called Xenia Onatopp. She's known for her character is known for crushing people between her legs and all, and she kind of gets horny, and gets all horny and whatnot. So, Isabella Scorupco's character, her character's name is Natalia Simeonova. In the film, she's Russian, but I think, like I said in real life, I think she's Polish. So, and we've got Joe Don Baker in the supporting role. And Joe Don Baker's American. And we've also got and also Famke Janssen is Dutch, by the way. And we've got what's his name? Another actor named Godfrey John, who plays the character named Colonel, later promoted to General, Arkady Ormov. Ormov, I think that's pronounced. Yeah. And the character's also Russian, but in real life, Godfrey John is German. So, and we've also got a brief appearance by actor Robbie Coltrane. I think he's also a comedian too. Also in Russian, in the movie that is. His character's name is Valentin Zukovsky, who's said the history in the movie with Bond. But in real life, Robbie Coltrane is Scottish, and Robbie Coltrane is also known for playing Hagrid in the Harry Potter movies. So, yeah. This movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It's PG-13, 1995. So you could say that Pierce Brosnan was my first Bond, due to my 92 birth. So I'm 3 years older than this movie here. So, yeah, and like I said, just this fun movie to watch, you know. Like, very action-packed, and I guess it can be a bit emotional, and not like emotional like Titanic. Like, if you've seen this movie before, I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. I guess in the sense between if you consider the history between Bond and Alex Trevelyan, you consider their history and his motivations and all. So in a sense, Alex Trevelyan is a bit of a sympathetic villain. So, and what I would probably think that Brosnan and Bean, I would say that given the characters were friends turned enemies, and also fellow 00 agents, you know, 007, and he was 006, Val Trevelyan was. I would say they've got pretty good chemistry with each other. And like I said, the film was pretty action-packed. You know, in the beginning, they're sneaking around through like a chemical factory and all, in the pre-credit scene. which is pretty fun to watch, and especially if you're playing Secret Agent, then you could, imagine yourself doing something like that. That's pretty cool. But in like that's pretty fun sequence to watch. That's just the idea of just them sneaking around and doing all secret agency stuff. And then of course, there's this scene where Pierce Brosnan is chasing after the character Orma, Godfrey John's character. He's going after him while driving a tank through the streets of St. Petersburg, Russia. And then the climax, they go down to Cuba and they fight in this satellite, this big satellite dish. Although I think that the satellite dish in question, which you may have seen in the movie if you've seen the movie, I think it was actually in Puerto Rico. I think either Puerto Rico or Costa Rica. One of those two. And it's not actually in Cuba, but within the universe of the movie, it took place in Cuba. Yeah, and yeah. And it also spawned a video game for the Nintendo 64. I have a Nintendo 64 myself, and I own the game, the video game. And it was one of the most popular FSPs to this day. FSP meaning first-person shooter. It's one of the most popular out there. And like I said, I own the game, and I've always enjoyed playing said game. So, and of course, it also has a couple of spin-offs: GoldenEye Rogue Agent and another GoldenEye 007. I think is the title. Something for like the Wii or the PlayStation 3, one of those systems. I can't remember what system the game I'm referring to is on right now. So, if anyone can care to refresh my memory, let me know in the comments, or I can look it up on Google right now. I'll probably figure it out after I'm done filming this video here. But as of now, the only of all the GoldenEye games that out there that exist, the only one I've actually played is the Nintendo 64 version. I've always enjoyed playing it. Then again, I'm not opposed to playing the other ones, but we'll see. But where it stands now, the only one I've played is Nintendo 64, and I don't mean to sound redundant, but I've always enjoyed playing it. So, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. It's GoldenEye, and I definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't already. And if you're a Bond fan, I would say definitely. I would say like if you're just now getting to Bond, like whether it's the books, or simply the movies, or whatever, I would say I recommend it. And if you're just even if you're not a Bond fan and you're just looking for a fun action flick to watch, check it out. And I guess with all that said, thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Peace the fuck out, I guess. Just felt like doing that. But seriously, bye, guys.